Good evening. Tonight, we now know what happened to a boy who was brutally killed and burned on the Rosebud Reservation back in 2019.
Dylan Millard has signed federal court documents admitting to murdering 15-year-old Alize Millard. The documents reveal a motive along with new details on the crime. This is a case Kelloland Investigates has been following for years. It was July 2019 when a body was found hanging from a tree in Ghost Hawk Park near Grass Mountain on the Rosebud Indian Reservation. The body, later identified as 15-year-old Alize Millard, was burned.
It's real suspicious. At this time, we don't have any eyewitnesses that seen what had happened. So we just have to piece it together. A lot of it is pieced together through the crime scene and the DNA evidence that's possibly left behind. And that's how we're going to match people up to who was actually there.
Nearly 5 years later, in 2024, two people, Dylan Millard and Charmaine Medicine, were charged in the case after one of them came forward. And now, Dylan, who was Alize's cousin, has signed a factual basis statement that details what happened. At the time of the murder, Dylan and Medicine were dating, and according to court documents, Dylan believed Alize was romantically interested in Medicine. He states that they decided to kill Alize. The statement goes on to say that in the early morning hours of July 9, 2019, Dylan and Medicine took Alize out drinking in Ghost Hawk Park. It says Alize drank until he was intoxicated, at which point Dylan began to strangle him. Dylan says he then carried Alize's body over to a tree and used his belt to tie Alize by his neck to the tree. Dylan and Medicine left for a while, and a few hours later they returned. The document says Dylan then poured motor oil on Alize's body and lit him on fire to get rid of any fingerprint or DNA evidence. 6 years of questions about a young boy taken too soon, now answered.
It is a closure in a way, but it's not, because we don't get him back. And he's always going to be in our minds.
In September of 2019, investigators did find Dylan Millard's DNA on the ligature knot of the belt used to tie up Alize. However, when questioned about it at the time, he claimed his DNA could be at the scene because Alize often wore his clothes. Dylan Millard is scheduled to plead guilty on Wednesday at a federal courthouse in Pierre. Charmaine Medicine also has charges, and her case is still making its way through the courts.